Hello, I'm Amelia Malpas, and this is why I support Agatha Bacelar for Congress. I was 17 in 2016. This is only consequential because it means I largely learned about the norms of government and elected officials through reading reports of how the current president, his administration, and a complicit Congress broke them. As a young person in this political climate, my politicization and radicalization, for lack of a better word, occurred simultaneously. The tipping point was, indubitably, Trump's election. It put this country's bigotry, racism, and sexism out in the open. But Trump is a symptom, not a cause of these evils. His audacious, unprofessional candidacy worked, and it inspired millions of Americans. Something must be seriously wrong in this country. His election was the most profound political event of my life, and yet, I've learned almost everything I know about our country's true history and our politics since then. I'm more angry than I thought I was, more cynical about the way power works, and more idealistic about what could be possible if our current politicians, systems, and structures changed. I've grown increasingly frustrated with the status quo in the following 3 years. How can it be that record wealth inequality and racial disparities exist, and yet taxes and social spending keep being cut? There's no money for funding education or single-payer healthcare, and yet our military and jails are more robust than ever. How can it be that the federal government acknowledged the existence of climate change in 1979 but did nothing, saying that the market would fix it? Our economic system is predicated on a perpetually increasing consumption of natural resources and labor. We cannot trust the system or the politicians who got us here to get us out. And as convenient as it would be to blame these problems on the political party that I'm least fond of, for the last generation, the leadership of both the Republican and the Democratic parties has sided with corporations over the environment and workers. That's why I support Agatha. Unlike the status quo Democratic incumbent in California's 12th district and her kin, Agatha understands the urgency of these problems. She understands that if we don't take action on climate now, there will be no other issues. She understands that poverty wages, racism, lack of opportunity, medical and student debt, and incarceration are systemic problems, not individual failings. Agatha gets it. And she thinks like I do, and many young people do. She knows we need substantial substantive change across the Democratic board. And if elected, she will bring it. She's a millennial. She's a woman. And while the current Congress has a record number of women, only 23.7% of lawmakers are female. That's not a lot. We're way behind our peer countries. As a young progressive woman, it matters to me to have public servants who champion the causes that I do. But it also matters to me that our elected bodies reflect our population. A democracy without women Congress members isn't a democracy. In this race, I don't have to choose whether to support a candidate because of their ideology or their identity. We have Agatha. There is nothing more powerful or inspiring than a young woman running for office. The system was not built for Agatha or people like her to be elected, but we can't fix it until they're in Congress. Through interning on her campaign, I've also gotten to know Agatha personally. She's kind, intelligent, curious, and probably the best listener to ever run for office. Her bookshelf is overflowing. She eats microwave noodles with kale stalks when there aren't any clean spoons, and she can play 2 recorders at once. She's a wonderful person. In Congress, I know that Agatha will bring about the kind of change that I and young people across the country crave. She would be one of the very few members of Congress whom I would genuinely trust is fighting for the environment, for people, and for democracy. That's why I'm supporting Agatha. The status quo must go. It's time to elect the future. Thank you.